And so when your water heater heats up the water and the water expands, you're creating your own internal pressure. So there's an expansion tank or something that they also have to put on, which is why the cost is in the $400 to $800 range for the plumber to do this. I was going to do it myself until I started finding a possible complexity of the whole thing, and decided I'd rather have a pro do it than to go out and buy my own pieces and still blow things up. So I don't know if everybody knows that. I just wanted to bring that out, that there may be more to it than just slap that pressure valve on and figure you're safe.
Thank you, Councilman Howick. And then
The Alberta phrase there is maybe. For example, the pressure regulating valves that we're providing for sale to people are not check valves. They don't stop the water from backflowing back into the municipal system. And as a consequence, they do not require the expansion tanks. It's those pressure regulating valves that actually stop the water from moving backwards into the municipal system that require the expansion tanks. So I can say that for the stuff that we're providing for people to use, no, that's not a requirement. On the other hand, a plumber may recommend it, depending on the household, that they get such a valve so that the water doesn't flow backwards, and in which case they would need an expansion tank. There are ways to solve this problem for a minimal amount. I appreciate the fact that minimal is a phrase that isn't appreciated well right now. That I'm not willing to step forward and say, oh, this cost is always greater than they're suggesting. That's not true. Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Steele.
I think that Mr. Howick hit on part of it, and part of what we've experienced is conversations from different plumbers. Much like when you have a storm roll through town and you have storm chasers, and we perhaps could be in the situation that not all people work with honesty and integrity, and perhaps some people may be building a business model. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we can get the education out better about what could work and what couldn't work. Because I think, again, our most vulnerable perhaps could be some of the people that might be taking advantage of somebody who's upselling a good intention, maybe that's not necessary. And then my second question is, I wonder if we, along with the Rotary, because Rocky Mountain Development does not have an avenue for
No, they
this.
don't. They help from the point of view of helping provide information for how to do the vetting,
Yes.
but they're not themselves in a position to materially help in the project.
So I'm wondering if we could reach out to perhaps churches, if we could come up with a broader idea or way to catch our most vulnerable. That's who I'm here most concerned about is our, we certainly don't want to have an incredibly vulnerable person like Ms. Boaz, who might have an ocean in her basement that doesn't have the means, they don't have the means to buy the part. And then if there is water, they certainly don't have the means. So I think we just need a net, a safety net.
Councilwoman Bowles.
Ms. Steele, I've thought that the two organizations that would be best, or that I thought of in the community that really have their pulse on the most needy would be Helping Hands and the food pantry. On another meeting, we talked about looking at trying to find some relief funding for the water utilities and things like that. We found, Mayor Rouser found that Red Lodge had a program through a community foundation, and that Shoto had a program through another foundation. And I think they needed to be under some sort of nonprofit umbrella or whatnot. So I
We could
did.
have 108 now in Broward County.
So I did kind of put some bugs in a few people's ears. I talked to Helping Hands. I haven't had a chance to talk to the food pantry folks yet, but since I'll be volunteering there in May, as usual, I was going to speak to them about it then, but that might be something that people could do in our community, as not only for just that little bit of water bill relief, but for anybody that needed some utility relief. And in Shoto, I believe they allow up to $500 a year or something per person. And it's paid through that organization on behalf of that person, so they can track and make sure that the funding is going where it should be.
Is there a way we could put on the water bill a notice to check your regulator, or have you gotten your regulator?
Mayor,
Yes, we can consider that, yes.
Jeannie, you are touching on another topic that has been a source of difficulty for this council, is how to reach its residents effectively. And we've talked about similar notices like this before, putting it on the water bill, sending out other notices. At one point there was discussion about a text communication method. I believe Broad County adopted it.
Similar to the county.
Yeah. And we just haven't found a good solution for that, to reach all the residents effectively, with a cost-effective method that people would just ignore. I mean, I know for a fact that you put notices on the water bill before, and many people claim to have not seen them. They're only looking at the numbers. It's a problem to get people to pay attention to certain things. And also leading to that, we send out this notice, and I can certainly appreciate some residents reading this and saying, well, how do I locate my water shutoff valve? Or what is a curb box? Like, none of this makes any sense to me. So automatically I'm going to have to hire a plumber, right? Because I don't know what to do. Perhaps there's a opportunity to send out some follow-up information that's a little bit more detailed to assist people accomplishing some of that themselves, or at least become better educated so it's not so scary. But none of us are plumbers, so I don't know what that would look like. I don't know if we'd have to talk to a licensed plumber to see if something could be prepared, if there's materials on how to do this that we could disseminate. So I just, I'm aware that notice may not have contained as much information as some people hoped, but ultimately it was sent with the good intention of, trying to provide some notice.
We have received several requests from residents to help them locate their curb stop, and I think a few to help them locate their shutoff valve in their home, right? And we have a list of plumbers here. People call and say, "Kit, who you know?"
Yeah.
So we got that. Admittedly, there aren't as many plumbers here in Townsend as there are in the Helena community, but we do have that. Yes, ma'am?
Oh, you can finish what you're saying.
I am finished.
Okay. So, talking about the curb stops, nobody knows where mine's at. Eric's been trying to find it for years. No idea.
We think we have a clue now.
Well, my issue is that you guys flooded my backyard for 10 months and it cost me $3,500 because you opened up a valve that led to nowhere and nothing was done about it. I actually sent you an email because I think that the city should be held responsible for me having to pay a plumber to come out and spend $3,500 to dig up my backyard to find out that, this
Ms.
valve
Peters,
should have never been turned
I
on.
sent you an email and heard nothing from you.
I never got an email from you. So anywho, it would be nice to know where my curb stop's at and also address the fact that it cost me $3,500 to dig up my backyard after the city assumed where the curb stop was and flooded my backyard for 10 months. So, I mean, I just, it's a concern of mine that they're gonna, other people can have that problem too, and then they're gonna be spending even more money. So, I mean, are you guys gonna be able to update your records on the curb stops now, so that you're not, putting people, their yards at risk?
Yes, we are working on that too as part of this project. Yes, ma'am.
Sharon Davis. We live on South Harrison, and we just last week had the city come out and show us where our curb stop was because we had a plumber there to put the valve on, which absolutely was not cheap. And our house is 115 years old, similar situation. And we have no idea what upgrades have been done in our house. And he said even with the valve on there, you're still probably gonna have problems with leaking faucets and leaking washers. And he said it's because of, they will have to come back out and readjust that valve when the water comes online. So, and we did go buy a gauge for it, just like the one he had when the plumber was there. So we're hoping we can adjust it ourselves, but we're kind of in the same boat as we'd rather pay a plumber to come do it correctly than us to do it and go, well, we think we got it. Well, and then we're concerned about what happens between the curb stop and the house, because the gauge, the valve goes in the house. So what happens between the curb stop and the house? If we have problems, you're saying it's our responsibility as the homeowner, but we have no idea what upgrades have been done. For all we know, those pipes have been there original, you know.
I would guess they are.
But that would be my guess too. And so it could cost a lot of people a lot of money. Yeah, you're not just gonna go out there and dig it up to find out what's down there. You're gonna wait till you have a problem. I mean, that's just common sense.
Thank you.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
I guess that's, I walked around the neighborhood just yesterday and got 60 signatures saying this exact same thing. The town is so concerned about that, what's gonna happen to their, pipes and basements, and so, I mean, the city will take no liability on that if 500 houses are flooded, like it's just all on us, I guess. I mean, that's what everyone's concern is, and I know you guys are saying it might not happen, but what if it does?
Yes.
We understand, but please understand where cities get their money. We get them from your tax dollars. If what you're basically saying is that you want us to tax you so that we have the money to pay for that problem. You're going to pay for it anyway. It's your tax dollars.
I'm going to,
Please, Mayor.
in this case, it's not tax dollars, JB, the water rates,
Water fees.
it's a fee
Let me
for
rephrase.
service.
Public monies.
Yes. I will grant you
So-
Public
that.
monies. We're not sitting on a pool of money that's just waiting to be spent. We take that money from the public.
Right.
And so where does the liability begin where we, the community, have to step up as a community and fix the problem versus one individual? I mean, I feel the fear. My house has modern PVC that shouldn't be subject to these pressures. Nobody has any idea what happens between the foundation of my house and the curb stop. I don't. The previous owner doesn't. Nobody does. I'm in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. But if we assume that we're all going to have that paid for, that's coming out of your back pocket one way or the other. So the question really becomes, fair is helping people who can't pay for it. But when it comes to everybody else, this is a common ordinance throughout the United States that curb stop in is the homeowner's responsibility.
Mr. Gibson?
Is it possible or reasonable to regulate the pressure more from the new water tower and make it less dangerous for everybody?
May I have, Mayor?
Absolutely.
Mechanically, yes. Productively, no. We have people in the town that have pressures as low as 30 and 20 PSI. If we regulate at the tower, they still have pressures at 20 and 30 PSI. Worse, you have all of that regulated pressure at the fire hydrants. Generally, what you want is every ounce of pressure and every cubic inch of water you can possibly